our avid viewers. This is Carl Bautista, your iconic host. I welcome you all to a fresh content of OURKITALKS, where workplace concerns can be freely raised to maintain and protect your peace. Two employees from different architecture firms were invited to take part in today's episode. Let us now hear the perspective of our first guest, Mr. Ymnwl Faurillo, an architect who has recently been struggling with wage underpayment.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Faurillo. I see that your case is about underpayment of wage. This is a financial issue, and others may relate to this. Would you mind elaborating underpayment to our viewers?
It is basically receiving less income than the fixed minimum wage, which should be at least about 20,000 pesos per month since I am an architect. This started 8 months ago due to the pandemic.
For how many months or years have you been already in this situation?
About 8 months in, sir. Honestly, it has been causing me distress since I am the breadwinner of the family.
This is very unfortunate. I also heard that your sister is here in OURKITALKS as well.
Yes, she is.
It is our delight to have you here. May I know how you have been keeping up with this condition?
Well, it is painful to witness hard work that is not paid off accordingly. I have actually been saving up to sustain my college expenses, but I still think that being underpaid is not what my brother nor anyone deserves.
I agree on this. To ease your worries and uncertainties, I have invited Ms. Julliana Ballesteros and Mr. Carlos Tacardon of the National Labor Relations Commission.
Good evening, Mr. Carl Bautista. To you as well, Mr. Ymnwl Faurillo.
Good evening.
We are glad to have you once again in this show. Going back to this case of underpayment, what are the actions that Mr. Faurillo may take?
As I have heard from Mr. Faurillo, a large amount was missed in a span of 8 months due to the lockdown and community quarantine brought by the pandemic. Is that correct, Mr. Faurillo?
Yes, sir.
You are actually covered and protected by law, particularly the Book 5, Title 2, Article 217 of Labor Relations. Since this involves wages and the rate of pay, you, the aggrieved one, may file a case and demand an increase in wage rate. Once this is done, the labor arbiter will be handling your case for 30 calendar days.
Should I file a case, would it be possible to extend more than the allotted 30 days?
This will be decided upon without further extensions. Also, the filed case will be pushed through even with the lack of stenographic notes. We may discuss a detailed procedure afterwards.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ballesteros and Mr. Tacardon.
So, are there any more questions, Mr. Faurillo?
None. All is clear now, and I'm very glad to have known this law.
Very good. This is a wrap for the first segment of OURKITALKS. Thank you, Mr. Ymnwl Faurillo, for approaching us. I hope for justification to your case. Again, thank you, Ms. Julliana Ballesteros and Mr. Carlos Tacardon, for assisting our guest. Viewers, please stay tuned for an interesting segment in OURKITALKS.
In a world where there are a lot of sinners, what counts the most is one word: saved. Jealous minds, insecure hearts, greedy souls. We welcome different kinds of you, different sins, different identities, different experiences. Together, we'll be different. Together, we'll create a difference. Be part of the team that seeks God.
Back and again, this is Carl Bautista, your iconic host. I am still together with our guest from NLRC since today's episode would be about a case closed. Ms. Julliana Ballesteros, you may introduce our guest employee.
Yes, the next guest would actually be familiar if you have been watching this show. Let us again welcome Mrs. Zane Lopez.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Miss Cezanne Lopez.
Nice to be back, but with a pleasant mood.
Surely, Ms. Lopez. This episode will only revolve on the process of putting a solution to your case. Since we have gaining new viewers, please give them a background about this.
Sure. To start off, I'm speaking on behalf of the union that has been formed within this architectural firm. The union's objective is to raise an issue involving the harassment of the firm's head towards female employees. Thankfully, the case successfully won against the offender.
Her case is crucial and sensitive, but we kept her assured that the case is being processed.
Yes, indeed, the union felt more composed than the past months.
How was the process done?
Similar to our first guest in today's episode, the rights of Ms. Lopez and the union are protected by law. The first step is filing a case against the offender. Disciplinary actions were also done.
It was also processed for 30 calendar days. In the union's case, there were sufficient stenographic notes to support their claims.
Yes, we made sure that there are no loopholes in the case, just to be ensured that such action would not be experienced by anyone else inside the firm. At that event, most of my colleagues felt fear and had a loss of motivation. The firm should be a safe place for us architects. We are really glad to have been accommodated by the show. Also to NLRC for a smooth process with regards to handling this case.
This is a remarkable event. We are also satisfied with the results of your case, Ms. Cezanne Lopez. I wish for constant peace in the premises of your firm. For our NLRC guests, thank you for your hard work.
It is our pleasure to be of help in protecting the rights of various laborers.
I guess this is the end of today's episode. Again, this is Carl Bautista, your iconic host. I hope to be on your side again next Friday for the next episode of OURKITALKS, where workplace concerns can be freely raised to maintain and protect your peace. Thank you.